We are now live. Happy Wednesday, IG. Welcome to another episode of Live with Jina, Becoming a Better You. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Talbot, the co-founder and chief creative director here at Crown Media Group. We're waiting for our other host, the main event, #1 best-selling author in 3 categories on Amazon, Jina, Arce-Cotto. But we here. Hope everybody's been having an amazing Wednesday. Shout out to everybody on the check-in, the Crack Podcast. I see you guys. My guy Bree, what's good, Bree? The main event has just arrived. #1 best-selling author. Hold on, let me pin my comment before I let her in. How y'all feeling today? It's Wednesday. It's our favorite day of the week. Y'all know y'all love y'all some Wednesday. Y'all know y'all love it. All right, hold on. Let me pin my comment. Reveal the book. And at I am Crown Media. I am Crown Media. Greetings, everybody. All right. Welcome.
We here.
All right, here. What's up, Gina? How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you, Kevin?
Oh, I am sensational for today. It's one of my favorite days of the week. It's Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Everybody is here for our favorite time of the day, Live with Gina.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. Because you on a higher frequency right now. You vibrating right now. So the Wi-Fi is probably a little off right there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of Live with Gina. I see y'all on the check-in. Shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Kaylin. Shout out to Sandy. I see y'all on the check-in today. Lumi's on the check-in. Bones is on the check-in. Bones was on the check-in last week. I think he was sharing with us some of the great books he read. So he's on here again. Let me get my notes ready.
I have my glasses on today. You know what, Kevin? For the first time, I'm not ashamed to say it, I got myself some bifocals.
Nice. Okay.
The devil's a liar, but that's okay.
But you know what? Because you got to do what you got to do to keep the vision clear. It's funny because I was over here saying like, yo.
This is 2020 right here. So if I look down here, I can see everything. But if I have to look from afar, I look up here. You know?
We both want to do our glasses today. We're going to have an intellectual conversation today about whether or not people are interested in their goals or they're really committed to their goals.
That's it. That's what it is.
What's up, everybody on the check-in? Shout out Tasha's on the check-in. The odd one in is on the check-in. King B. Reeves on the check-in. Oh, King B. Reeves. He's actually one of the funniest comedians out of the Bronx, New York. He's on the check-in. We got some people checking in.
Awesome.
They're slowly coming through. What's up, everybody?
That's awesome.
What's up, Gina? So what's going on? Are you excited for another episode of Live with Gina?
Listen, I have been so pumped up about the platform that God has given us to share about vision, share about commitment, share about really allowing people to become a better version of themselves. So I'm so pumped up because I think all of us need a little bit of guidance. We all need coaching and mentorship. We all somehow are going through a different process in our lives. And right now, at this very moment, God has chosen us to shed some light on the path that they're going in. So I'm just excited with all the people joining. I mean, I know Tasha has been committed like every single week. She's been DMing me. I mean, I'm just so pumped up. She's a really nice, close friend of mine, my best friend. My mom joined, Iluminada Roman. I just saw she joined, which is exciting.
You know, people pulling up out here. My guy, Luke TV stats in here. Yo, I like this.
I am so pumped right now on everybody that's just joining and coming in, and you know, so that's exciting. That's exciting. But yeah, it's an awesome platform.
100%. So let's do it. You know, this is what we hear every single week. Live with Gina, Becoming a Better You. Weekly tips to help you prevail in your everyday life. because that's what we're trying to do, man. We're trying to help
That's
everybody
it.
elevate and overcome,
Yes.
because the better and more you can overcome, you can actually become. And that's what we want to do.
Yes.
We're here to help y'all. You know, shout out to everybody who sends in their questions every single week, because like we said, this platform is here for you. So if you have questions that you want to submit now, you can actually submit them in the Q&A feature, the little question mark box that's next to the comments. Obviously, if you have a question that you want to ask Gina or myself, most likely Gina, because, you know, I'm just here to just really, I'm Gina's sidekick.
No, but you're awesome, man.
And so
You
if you
know
want to
as
ask
much
us some
as
questions,
me.
you know, submit those questions and we're going to get to them. For those of you that don't know, today's topic is interested versus committed, right? You know, we're always talking about how to elevate and stay focused on our goals.
Yes.
But sometimes, you know, there's different levels to it, right? Like you start out, you're doing something and you may be doing things and you think you're making moves, but you may not fully be there just yet. And that's really what today's discussion is about. So as always, don't forget to share this live and invite your friends and family to come and check us and, you know, join the conversation. But, you know, let's dive into it.
Yes.
Let's get this. So talk to us, Gina. Interested and committed is a topic that you and I always talk about. You know, what are the things we're going to do to get to the next level? But for you, what do you think is really the difference, you know, in somebody who's interested in accomplishing their goals versus someone who's actually committed?
You know, I think that somebody that's interested is not fully dedicated to the cause, right? Because that's what commitment is. Commitment is to be fully, like completely dedicated to the cause, dedicated to what your goal is, what the vision is. That's commitment. But when you're interested, it's kind of like, oh man, I really want that Range Rover, but I don't have a savings account for that Range Rover, you know? Like I'm not taking away from my fashionista account to put into the car account. So now I'm just interested. I love it. It's cute. I think I look cute in it. You know, it's something that you wonder, you dream, but there's no real goal. There's no real commitment. There's nothing written down. You know, it's just kind of like you wish. I wish. I'm interested. I wish. You know, yeah, maybe the fairy tale will come in one day and put on my blue dress and I'll be Cinderella. I wish, you know. But commitment is I will be Cinderella. I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna look for that blue dress. I'm gonna save up for it. I'm gonna get the dress, okay, and I'm gonna put it on, and I'm gonna find my Prince Charming. I mean, whatever it is for you,
For sure.
right? It could be different. So I think a lot of us, the reason why we don't get the results that we're looking for, the reason why we see people sometimes fly us by and we're like, wow, man, I wanted that and I didn't get it. How come they got it and I didn't get it? It's because we have that version of interest, but it hasn't gotten to another level of saying, that's it. I'm committed. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of being interested. I got to do something about it. That's when commitment starts coming in.
I like that. I like that. That's great. You know, and I think, you know, for me, and everything I think you're saying is spot on, right? It's kind of like you kind of just hope things will happen rather than, you know, actually working for it. Like I always seen that sometimes instead of wishing for it, you should go and work for it. That's something I always heard. You know, one of the things that always stands out to me when we talk about this topic is like, I think it's a matter of like convenience, right? Like the person who's just kind of interested is they'll do it when they have time, right? Like, okay, let's be talking about body goals, right? Let's just use that. Cause I think that, you know, our health is definitely one area that a lot of people say,
for sure.
Right. And for me, one thing I always think is funny is like January till about like April, May. People always talk about what their summer bodies are going to be like, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, my summer body's going to be like this, right? And then it gets to a point where like June starts rolling around and then people are like, you know what? The summer's going to take whatever body I give it.
Exactly.
And you and you know, on top of like that, you have to see who's interested versus committed, right? Like somebody who's just interested is they'll do it when they feel like it.
Yes.
Whereas to me, the person who's committed is like, whether or not I feel good or, you know, I want to do this, I'm going to take the steps to do it, right? It's a non-negotiable. Like if I know that I want to get in shape, and I know that I set a goal to do 10 push-ups a day, you know, it don't have to be crazy. Everybody's goals is different. You know, am I going to do the 10 push-ups or not? It's that
Right.
easy. It's a decision between will you
Right.
do it and won't you do it. So,
You know,
mhm.
I just thought about something. So, I mean, you know, we talk about these things, we get excited about them, but I think that sometimes God sees that we really want something and we're interested, we're curious, right? It's inconvenience. I really, you know, I really want this, but I don't want to do the work to get it. And
Right.
then the struggle comes. The struggle comes. And it's up to you to take that struggle and say, no, I'm committed
Yes.
or I'm interested.
Yeah.
And it's funny that the struggles take you to a level of you really want to get there, so you got to go through this. You really got to go through the struggle. You got to go through the process to really feel like you committed. You know, I wrote this quote down and I thought it was amazing. You know, without commitment, nothing happens. Nothing.
100%.
It doesn't matter in what, whether it's a job, a business, a ministry, you know, parenting, uh, uh having a good marriage, whatever it is. If you're not committed, it's not gonna happen, because life is gonna hit you 50 million ways, and you gotta make a decision whether, you know what, I'm committed to this. So I don't want to come home today because I'm arguing with my husband, but I'm coming home because I'm committed.
Yes. Yeah. No.
So
No.
feelings
100%.
have to get out of the way.
No. 100. 100. Oh, I think you hit it right on the head. Feelings have to get out of the way.
Yes.
Yes, I like
Yes.
that. You can't be operating off of emotion.
No.
No,
No.
and no, I think you're spot on with that, because, like, sometimes, okay, let's keep with the, with this example of love, right? You're
Okay.
married, but there's a lot of people who may tune in who maybe they're single, they're looking for love, right?
Okay.
And sometimes people always put this list like, okay, I want somebody who's like this, and this. But sometimes you have to realize that you have to elevate your game or
Oh
grow
yeah.
to a certain level to get and attract someone who's like this, and this. Okay, are you willing to do the work within yourself to actually get what you want? That's where we start to see who's really interested versus who's actually committed. Because like you're saying, it takes, to get the things that we want, it takes a lot from us to go to the next level, right? Like,
Yes.
sometimes you're good and your good is good enough here. But if you want to get to the next level, there's certain things that you need to, work on or elevate, or, old habits you need to shed, or old people.
Oh, that's a good
like
one
that.
right there. Old
So yeah,
habits.
we're gonna get into that. So all
Yep.
right, so let's
Yep.
talk
Yep.
about this here. So okay, so let's say if I'm just starting out, right, and I'm actually looking to become more committed.
Okay.
What are some action steps that you think that I can actually take to become more committed?
I think that to become more committed, you gotta really know your why. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. And a lot of times we think we're committed until the struggle happens, and then we're just interested. But when you know real commitment happens, when you know I am doing this because,
Yes.
right? I am doing this because if not, I'm gonna get sick. Because if not, my marriage is not gonna work. Because if not, I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills. Because if not, I'm not gonna be able to fulfill my God's given destiny. And a lot of times you gotta really look within yourself. These past 4 weeks were amazing, and I thank you as being the greatest host. We were talking about vision, and we were talking about really identifying them and surrounding yourself with the right people and understanding the importance of what you put in your brain, the importance of what goes up on here, because eventually it's going to demonstrate in what you're doing. And all that to say that when you find that vision, is it a vision of I'm just interested because it looks nice? Or is it a vision that I am going to do whatever it takes to get to the end result?
Yes.
And a lot of times what stops us is the pain in between. It's almost like that story of the guy that was looking for the diamond, right? And he's knocking the rock, he's knocking down the rock, and right before he gets to the diamond, he stops. And I mean, was he interested or was he committed?
It's definitely, he wasn't committed, because if you were committed, you would see it through to the end.
You got to see it through. You got to see it through. It doesn't matter what happens. So I have a quick story, right? So we just did our backyard, and we're very blessed that we did really a paradise in our backyard. and I didn't want to stop. I bought a gazebo in 2011. So this is just to share hope. We got this house in 2011, September of 2011, and no, I'm sorry, July of September 11. I'm sorry, July 2011.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say. I'm excited. I see everybody joining. And October of 2011, I bought a six chair table, and I bought a gazebo. And my husband really thought that I was lying when I told him I bought that 2 to 3 months after we got the house, because literally it's been 9 years, and now is that we actually put a floor in the backyard to put it together.
Right.
I was so excited. He looks at the bill. It says October 2011. I was like, wow, I am going to get this gazebo up. And I am not the typical woman. You know, I am nailing things on the wall. I'm building things. I'm doing it all. And I told my husband, it was 10:30 at night. We were done with all our commitments. And I said, babe, you got to help me, because you know this is heavy. You got to help me. We putting it together. Yeah, babe, I got you. He's laying down in the sofa outside. My daughter's like, I got you too. I'm with my friend. I said, babe, you guys got to help me. Like, this is not a one-woman job. There's some things that they're like, yeah, okay, Gina got it. This was not a one-woman job. Kevin, I would not stop until it was done, because I was committed. My husband fell asleep in the sofa. My daughter fell asleep inside. Her friend was in the house. I finished at 3:30 in the morning. And when we started talking about this topic of interested versus committed, I was like, oh my God, I was committed.
No, for sure.
I did not stop till it happened, till it was over.
You better than me, because honestly, I tried putting together some stuff from IKEA, and I'm real. I could tell on that topic, I'm just really interested. I'm like, I'd rather just
you're interested.
Just delegate. Anytime it comes to building stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? I could do it, but like, you know what? Let me just pass it off. So no, and honestly, that's something simple. We're laughing about it. Shout out to Tiffany. Tiffany's laughing at it. But that's something so simple as a perfect example of the mindset of being interested versus committed.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. So what you're saying, okay, so first thing you're talking about, the question was, if you're looking to become more committed, what are some action steps? The first thing that Gina shared with us is actually know your why. Like, what's your reason for setting out on this journey or making this commitment?
Yes.
What are some other action steps that we could take?
I think that writing it down is a huge one, because then it becomes real.
Yeah.
I think talking about it with your mentor as well, or talking about it with somebody that can hold you accountable. It makes it more real when it's actually on paper, when you actually see it on a vision board, right? We're going to talk about having a vision party later on. When you actually see it, when you actually like, wow, you know, I told my husband I was going to get this done, and I'm a person of integrity, so I'm going to get it done. And sometimes it's kind of like what I said last week. You got to find that inner energy within yourself to say, nothing is going to stop me, because I'm committed. Regardless of what happens on around me, I'm committed.
Right.
You know,
you hold yourself accountable.
Holding yourself accountable. And I think part of those things is writing it down, putting it on a vision board, holding yourself accountable, holding somebody else accountable, and say, wow, you know, I'm going to get it done. And there's going to be consequences if I don't get it done. But it has to be something where you got to find that energy within you. You know, our famous actor, Bozeman, passed away. And I was at Orr, you know, rest in peace. He was a beautiful human being. I didn't know him personally. But while he had cancer for 4 years, he did 7 movies. That's commitment.
It's commitment.
100%. He found something within himself to say, you know, I'm sure he thought he was going to fight it. And I'm sure he did. He fought it to the end. I'm sure. I mean, you know, he was scheduling out his chemo treatments and his surgeries and everything so that he could still, you know, be the Black Panther and everything else like that. And you look at these human beings and you think they're superhuman, but they're not. Right. They're just committed. Right. It's powerful.
100%. 100%, man. Yeah, no, that story definitely, you know, that shocked me. But it also amazed me that it's just like, you know, that's like you're saying right now, like any one of us could have made that excuse. Like, okay, you know what? You know, I'm battling this thing. Let me pack it up. Like, my movie career is over. But like you said, instead, like, he made a commitment to himself. He made a commitment to his craft. Those people who invested in him, like, one of my favorite stories about Chadwick, and I'll share this before we get back on course here, was that, when he was trying to go to film school, that Denzel was actually like the one who sponsored him.
Ooh,
And then
I didn't know that.
And then like Felicia Rashad became one of his mentors. So it was like this crazy full circle thing. But to see that, like, yo, you stayed dedicated and committed through that, like he did not let the obstacles get in the way. So that's one of the things that I will always take from Chadwick the Black Panther, R.I.P. So okay, so let's get back into it. We're talking about interested versus committed. Shout out to everybody who is joining on the check-in. Shout out to Baldy Kicks, my man Teddy. Shout out to Van Gogh, Vontae, I seen you. Shout out to my bro Kez Fresh. Everybody's on the check-in. Shout out to my boy Gino the barber from Atlanta. That's my bro. Everybody is here for episode 5 of Live with Gina, Becoming a Better You.
Yes.
Weekly tips to help you prevail in your everyday life. This week we're talking about, are you interested or are you just committed in accomplishing those goals? And so right now the question that we're asking is, okay, we're starting out on our journey of success, and we're trying to make that transition from being interested to being committed. What are the action steps? Gina's just sharing with us about, making sure you actually have a clear why. Why is it that you're actually making these commitments? Keeping your goals and things clear in front of you. Finding people that can hold you accountable, and also hold yourself accountable. And I actually think the one thing that I would add to this, and this is something that's so simple that people forget, is making a decision. It's a simple decision whether or not you're going to be committed or you're just going to stay interested. It's like that famous quote that they say, one day or day one. It's up to you to say, at any moment you could make the decision, like, you know what? If my goal is to get that 6-pack of abs right here, right now, I'm not eating the cheesecake no more.
Oh, that's hard.
No,
but yeah, I get it. I get it.
Hard. But that's all it takes is one decision to say, you know what? Right. I'm making this switch in my life, and am I going to stick to it? So thank you for sharing that. Actually,
you know what, Kevin? Go ahead.
Go to us.
No, I was going to say that just, focusing on making that decision, we need to have a concise mental picture. Concise mental picture of what we want to do. We need to understand that decision is going to get us that picture regardless of what's in between. When we're committed, all of a sudden the world comes against us. Have you ever found that? I mean, I want you guys to say hello, shout, do whatever. You make a commitment.
Amen.
Amen. You make a commitment, and all of a sudden, like, where all these problems came from? I didn't have them before. Where all these people came from? Where all these challenges come from? That didn't happen before. And all of a sudden, you make a commitment, and everything changes. Why? Because now you're focused. Now you are, you're not bending over with the world. You're keeping an alignment to where you need to be. So when that happens, it's kind of like, I don't care what goes against me. I'm going to get this done. And that's what commitment is. It's a diehard decision of whatever happens, I'm going to get it done.
For sure. And, to, keep going on this topic here, I think one of the things that happens is, like, when you make that decision, the things come against you to kind of test you a little bit.
Yeah,
like, is this really what you want? Like, I have this happen all the time. Like, all my friends who are single, who will say, you know what? I'm making that decision, right? Like, let's say, they got their roster. And I have female friends who, like, they talking to all these guys. They say, you know what? I'm going to pick this guy. I'm getting serious about this one guy.
Yeah.
Cut all the other guys off. And then all of a sudden, it's like all the other guys, like 34 more guys come and they try to talk to her.
Yeah.
And so she's like, yo, I don't know what, like, the one was trying to be talking to me before.
Yeah.
And now that I made the decision to commit, it's all the forces are coming against me. And I'm like, girl, you got to stay woke. You got to stay strong. But that's a prime example of no matter what it is, whether it be to commit to a relationship, to commit to your goals, right? Yes. Let's say if you say in business, I'm shutting it out. I'm not partying for the next 3 months. I'm not drinking. I'm not smoking. I'm not doing whatever. The minute you say that, your friends are going to be hitting you up like, yo, bro, like, you trying to pull up to this event? Like, it's going to be crazy. So I'm glad that you point that out, because I think a lot of people they get blindsided because they're not aware. You know, and I think it's like many people get knocked out of the game because of their perspective. They think just because they make a commitment that everything is going to be easy. when in fact it's like everything is actually hard. And if you actually prepare yourself for that mentally, I don't think you'll get as knocked off your horse, if that makes any sense.
Yes. You know, sometimes we don't have an example of commitment. Can I just share that? And sometimes we don't know what commitment looks like because nobody else around us has ever been committed. Sometimes we grow up in families where your parents have 17 jobs and they were just like from one thing to another. Nothing negative about that. You just never saw somebody stay still for a long time in whatever they were doing and grow in that. And I want to encourage you, if you're one of those people, you know, there's one person in my life that although my parents got a divorce, I got a divorce. So in that area, I didn't see a lot of commitment. And sometimes you could say, well, if they did it, I could do it. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen to me. But what showed me a lot of commitment was Jesus. And I got to tell you this because I did a podcast this Tuesday. It came out yesterday. I encourage you to listen to the Prevail Point. It was, I think, one of my most powerful podcasts because I'm really talking about some really deep, sorrow things that I'm going through in my heart and things that have been happening to me since I wrote the book. So, you know, I got a lot of comments like, wow, Gina, thank you for sharing. That's pretty transparent. So listen to it, the Prevail Point. You can listen to it on Anchor, Apple, Spotify. It was an amazing, actually, I didn't even think it was that much of a good podcast. I was just kind of being honest. Those are usually the best ones, right? Those are usually the ones that people could really relate to. And I wasn't like screaming or anything. But I just recently did my eyebrows and I know they look beautiful. Okay, my eyebrows got messed up a long time ago by some people just waxing away. Long story short, I got my eyebrows done by Brows by Beb. And if she's there, she was there last week with us. She's amazing. She's not paying me for this commercial, but it is what it is. So I did this. Now I did microblading. It is called microblading. I didn't realize it was called microblading. In other words, they are cutting you. Okay, you are. I didn't realize. I'm just looking at the pictures on Instagram. Oh my God, their eyebrows look so beautiful. You know, and I'm looking at the end result. When I'm sitting in the couch, I see her with a blade, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, what? She was like, "You don't know what you're gonna do." I'm like, "No," and I'm like, blood coming on, and this is a process. I'm like, "Bro, it is hard to be beautiful." You know?
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's like we go through so much. Anyway, all that to say that my marketing director from Crown Media, she was asking me, "Hey, I really want to do that, Caitlin. I really want to do that, and what happened, and blah blah blah." And she made me realize, like, oh my God, I went to do that, not thinking about the pain because I was committed to the end result, right? I was committed. I wanted to see that picture of my eyebrows looking so beautiful, and I was committed to that. And I was already there, so I had to deal with the pain of going through that. And the same way with Jesus Christ, like whether you believe he's Jesus, he's a prophet, whatever, he was a true historic figure. And at the end of the day, he was persecuted, he was hurt, he was beat up, he went through all that, but his vision was to die on the cross. That was his vision. His vision was, I'm gonna die. I don't care about what's going on with me. He was committed. And I want to encourage you to find somebody in your life that's committed, where it doesn't matter what they have to go through to get there, but that's a great start to read the Word of God and see what he went through to get the end result, where 2,000 years later, people still talking about it. He was the greatest leader to live. You know, books written in all different types of languages. As much as they want to burn the Bible, it's still here. So it's just, you know, was he committed? Was he interested?
Right. No, 100%. No, 100%. And, you know, it's crazy because, like, you know, there's plenty of stories that, you know, even to like the end when he knew he was supposed to die on the cross and anybody was like, yo, you got the power. You could easily just, you know, snap it and make it go away. But he's like, nah, like, this is the journey. This is what the prophecy said that I was called to do.
Right.
I have to stay committed to that. And I think, and I'm glad that you shared that because for many of us, like you said, many of us we've never seen a true example of someone actually stay committed And I think it's the norm for many
Yes.
people to waver
Yes.
and have people say like, no, it's okay. Like, it's okay to cheat on your spouse. It's okay to cheat on this exam. It's okay to only give 80% to your fitness goals or this. Like they make being average the normal.
That is
You
so
know,
deep, Kevin.
but you have to kind of shift and you find those right examples. You know, and it's kind of like people always say that if you're going to follow the crowd, you're only going to get the same results that
Oh,
the crowd
yes.
wants. So
Yep.
I think what you said was a major key is find an example of real commitment, right? And so if, you know, you are single and you're looking for love one day, okay, find that, you know, not, and don't put the emphasis on the people, because sometimes we fall in love with celebrities, but we have to realize that celebrities are just human beings. They
That's
make
right.
mistakes. So don't put these human beings on a pedestal, but the principles, right? Like if you know there's a relationship that emulates the principle that you want to have one day,
Yes.
keep that example clear, right? Like if it's a fitness goal and you know that there's a certain type of, you know, and that's not about the body image, but if there's a certain goal or health wise you want to be, get images of those and keep those visions clear and stay committed to your goals, right? Get around those people, because other people who are committed are going to help you raise your game and stay committed. If you be around average people, you're just going to be average.
That's
So,
right.
you know, I think that was a great point that you shared with us.
That's
Matter
right.
of fact, right now, why don't you, do you have a story maybe about a time in your life where, you know, you thought you were committed, but you really weren't. You were kind of just interested. You know, like what did that look like? You know, what were some of the results you were getting?
So I have a few.
We all
So
have.
listen to this. I just thought about one besides losing weight. That's the story of my life with commitment. But when I went to school, I wanted to be a clinical social worker. And I went to school, I went to Hunter College. I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I actually got 2 bachelor's degrees. Um, Not because I'm smart, I just know I had to do it. Honestly, I am not like your genius. Like, I'm a motivator, but I'm not like the genius one. Um, but I graduated. Then I said, you know what? I want to go back and get my master's. So I went through the whole process. I got accepted to Columbia University, got accepted to Hunter College, which honestly are both in the same prestigious when it comes to clinical social work. So obviously I chose Hunter College because I didn't want to be in debt of $100,000. Um, I this is funny, and I'm not de-edifying school or not encouraging anyone to go to school. I think if that's your path, that's amazing. I went into the classroom, Kevin. There was a book like this thick, this big. I looked at the book. The
Mm-hmm.
professor literally said, "You guys are already syllabus. You were supposed to read 4 chapters." I
Mm-hmm.
looked at the book. I left it in the table, and I walked out.
Did you pay for that book or did you borrow the book?
I don't know. I don't remember. I know I never returned
That's
it.
really bad. If you pay for that,
I
because I
looked
used to
at
work in
that
the
book. It
campus
was probably
bookstore.
$300.
I was gonna say I used to work in the campus bookstore when I was on campus for 3 years. So I know a lot about textbooks. I know a lot about books. Period. The book business. I actually had a book business at one point. So if you bought that textbook and walked out, God bless. You must have been
I
traumatized.
probably did. This is all I remember right now. I mean, that was many moons ago. I probably picked it up, returned it, got $5 for it. Because
Right.
it's not like you get all this money after you spend the $300.
Right.
But I walked in and I'm not doing this. I already had my foot. I was already a counselor. I was a substance abuse counselor. I was doing well. I was
Mm-hmm.
making money. I was still living with my parents. I was only 20 years old. I went in there and I was interested, but I was not committed.
Right.
I was not committed. I was like, there is no way I am gonna start after graduating with a bachelor's degree to go and get my master's. And that's a perfect example of a lot of us that turn around and we do these great you know vision boards, or we tell all these people that we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, but in reality are not committed. Because when the
Mm.
push comes to shove, at that moment, when it was time for me to say, God, I don't want to read the book, but I have to read the book because I want to get my master's, I want to open up my own clinic, I want to do this, I want to do that, I walked away.
Right.
I walked away. And I'm glad that all things work out for good for those that love the Lord, because it worked out for me. I ended up eventually, owning my own business and not pursuing the clinical social work career, although that's what I wanted at one point. But it was just amazing. I was so interested and not committed at that moment.
Right.
And I owned it. I walked out. I tried to get my money back. I don't even remember if I did, but I was like, I'm not doing it.
No, for sure, for sure. Okay, so now on the flip side of that, maybe share a story with us from your life when you started to make that transition, or when you went from just being interested to committed, right? Like, what were some of the changes you made? What did that kind of look like? What were some of the results you started to get once you made that shift?
I think that when I started my own business, I had a finance and asset management business, and I started finding my way. Again, I was young. I was 21, 22 years old. I know I look like that, but that was like 25 years ago. And I was, oh my God, I was like, I found my niche. I
Mm,
found, and it's funny because my mother always told me, I don't know why you're going into social work, because you really should be a businesswoman. All right, listen to your mother. My mother told me that when I was like in my teens, because I always had money. People always borrowed money from me. I always, had that business mindset. If I had to if I had to sell candy, I sold the most candy. And I was 8 years old. If I had to do something, I just had that grace. And my mother was like, you need to own your own business. But when I owned my own business in finance and asset management, and I started seeing that I was changing people's lives and that I was giving them what they wanted, there were nights that somebody could only see me at 10 o'clock at night, and I will go see them. I said, if that's the only time you have, that's the time I'm going to see you. We were knee to knee over the kitchen table, me sharing with them what they had to do financially, me sharing with them, their investments and things that they had to do. And it didn't matter. And I realized when you're doing something that you're committed to, it doesn't matter the time. It doesn't matter your struggle. It doesn't matter the money you got to pay. That's a big one. You know real commitment if you're willing to invest. That's
yes.
a big one. A lot of people say, I'm interested, I'm committed. Yeah, I want to do real estate. But then a class comes and it's $500 and you're not willing to invest the $500 to take the class to get better.
Mm,
That's not commitment.
mm,
Okay, and I
mm.
just use real estate to use real estate. But,
No, that's a
nothing
great
against
example.
anybody that's on real estate.
No, that's a great example because you see it countless times, right? Like I think that's key because that was one of the questions that somebody submitted is like, what are some of the signs of someone who is committed? I think that you said that, like you're willing to invest, right? Like, something as so simple as money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money, everybody has a different philosophy for money, but for me, one of the things that's starting to help me recently is I shifted my perspective on money, and I actually started calling it currency, right? Like
Okay.
how a current flows.
Okay.
Money is designed to work for us. We don't work for
Okay.
money. Money works for us, and
That's
I say that
right.
every single
I
day.
love it.
And the money is here just to be a tool and an asset to help me elevate and get to where I want to get to, right? So just like how you're saying, like there's countless times when somebody who may say, let's say a perfect example, I'm gonna talk about my craft, right? My craft is media production. And everybody's saying, okay, I want to be the next Spike Lee. I want to be the next Tyler Perry. I want to be the next great. Okay, do you have a camera? All right, are
Mm-hmm.
you willing to drop a camera? You can get a very basic camera for $300, $400. Are you willing to spend that $300, or are you going to look at that $300 as, oh, I don't got it right now, I can't
Right.
invest, right? Like,
Right.
that conversation, that dialogue, like those are some of the signs. Like when you got to listen to your self-talk. We always talk about that. What are the things you're saying to yourself, right? Like if someone says, hey, you want to enter this course, it's going to cost you X amount. But if you know that the course is $500, but you could learn something that makes you $5 million,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like weighing that trade-off. So I
So are
think
you
it's
going to look at it as an expense, or are you going to look at it as an investment? See,
yes.
that's the big thing there. And when you're committed, everything is an investment. When you're committed, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm committed. I want my marriage to work. How many marriage counselings do I need to go to? How many conferences do I need to go to? Who do I need to be mentored by? Whatever it takes, I'm committed. And money is a big factor of knowing how committed you are. It's like the deadbeat dads. Really, you're not committed to being a dad if you're not willing to give child support. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how committed are you if you're not willing to give part of your income to your child that you gave birth to, right? I mean, not literally, but they gave birth to it.
Right, for
And
sure.
and again, it's commitment. Are you willing to come back home every single night, even if you don't want to? Are you willing to be committed? You know, a commitment, you will never be committed unless you tackle those things that are hurting you. You have to tackle them and say, you know, whatever it is, get out of my way. I'm committed. And
Right.
sometimes you realize you're committed when you gotta let go of certain things that you love, like PlayStation. Like, are you serious? Like, why are you on PlayStation for 10 hours a day? You're 45 years old. You're 50 years old. I see men that have families on PlayStation for 10 hours. What are you doing with your life? Some people, they're okay with the 9 to 5, or they're okay with not even working and just getting on a video game all day. And you know, that's okay. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that if you're on this call and you have a vision and you want to be committed, being on a PlayStation for 10 hours is not going to fly. Or being on your novelas, right? On your soap operas.
Mm-hmm.
Or being on the Netflix series.
Yep.
Or being on, like, oh man, this new Netflix, man. I don't got no time. But I just binge Netflix for 7 hours a day. You know,
100%.
how committed are you?
100%. No, and you hit it right on the head, right? And like we just said earlier, one of the keys is decision making, right? It's a trade-off, right? If you say yes to something, you automatically say no to something else.
Right.
Right? Like, and you know, and I'll be transparent also. You know, for me, one of the things is like I never ever really watched TV, right? Because my philosophy is I'd rather be out making the TV, right? That's my craft.
Nice. I like
But
that.
in the same brother, part of it is, you know, studying the game. Like, what are other people tuning into? Like, why is this series a hit series? Why do people love watching it? What is it about the storytelling, right? So, you know, one of the traps in my industry is that, you know, you get caught up watching stuff thinking that you're studying the game, right? And there's times that I'm like, yo, I can't watch another episode of Power. Like, can you just, Kevin, relax. You gave like 4 episodes already. Can you just go?
Yeah.
Like, you got like, I'm shaking myself. I'm like, yo, I just need to know what happens next. And it's like, nah, like, you have to ask yourself, you have to look at the bigger picture. Like,
yes.
Okay, in 10 years from now, is me watching one more episode of Power to see what happened to Tommy and Ghost gonna move me forward? You know what I'm saying? Or can I take that hour and go and maybe do a screenwriting course?
Right.
Or learn a book about how to write series. You know what I'm saying? It's a trade-off. Okay. And that's what we're talking about here. Interested versus committed. All right, yo, that was a good one. That
was good.
That last question was a good one. That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you to whoever submitted that. Shout out to everybody on the check-in, you guys. We see y'all. Y'all showing us mad love. Tiffany every week on the check-in. Shout out to Tiffany. Shout out to Tasha. Tasha every week on the check-in. Tasha definitely knows about staying committed.
Oh yeah.
And staying tapped in. Yo, she's fit too. So if you use that, that's your trainer. Jina,
that's it right there, man.
You have no reason not to hit your goal.
She sent me some stuff today that I haven't responded to her because
I saw Tasha's page, yo. I was like, yo, God bless. If Tasha was in an arm wrestling contest with somebody, I pray for that other person, yo. She's in shape. So, Gina, you have no excuse not to get in shape right there. You have no reason. All right? So,
not good.
Shout out to all of you all. We appreciate y'all every single week on the check-in. We really appreciate it because we do it for y'all.
That's right.
All right, so let's wrap up here. We are on the precipice. We're in the last few minutes of our show, episode 5 of Live with Gina, Becoming a Better You. And actually, what I'm gonna do now is let's take some questions from the audience. Let's take that, and then we can go to any kind of final thoughts. All right, so I like this one, even though this is funny. So Donna asks, "What's the difference between OCD and commitment?" I don't know. It's funny. I think she might mean like maybe another word. It's perfectionist. Like
OCD is kind of like somebody that you know, water can't fall on the floor because they're so clean. You know, they're OCD, or they can't touch the doorknob, or
So I like that. There's some people who are like everything needs to be a certain way. Right, they're regimented. So when I think about OCD, that's kind of what comes to mind. So like okay, what's really the difference between somebody who's just like borderline, like perfectionist, control freak, versus somebody who's seriously or actually committed? I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
So you know what comes to mind? Commitment requires flexibility. OCD doesn't give any room to flexibility. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you're committed, life is gonna happen. And maybe you had a commitment, to write a book at a certain time and you didn't because somebody passed away. But you're not flipping out because of that. Maybe you gotta stretch the deadline a little bit more, but still be committed. Or when your OCD is almost like people don't matter, is what you OCD about, whether it's being clean, whether it's the repetition of your life. But commitment fits all those things in, and you still get it done. You're committed to the goal, but people are still more important than the goal.
100%.
And that's very important to understand, because my husband's not a quitter. He is amazing. He is resilient, and I've said this before. He is focused, 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 focused. But when you're in business, you have to learn how to be flexible, because things change. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean your commitment change, but sometimes the way you get to the commitment has to change because it's life, right? Let's talk about this pandemic.
I love that.
You and me, we still flowing, whether the pandemic is happening or not happening. But maybe that may not be a Wednesday that we can meet, because these the elections and nobody's gonna see us anyway. It doesn't mean we're gonna stop like with Gina. Maybe we'll meet on Tuesday. You have to be flexible, and OCD people, in my experience, and I'm not a mental health counselor, or I mean, I do have a degree in counseling, but I'm not, certified for that. So I'm not, my opinion in watching people that are OCD is that they put that OCD before people, and they don't care about nothing else but that. Commitment is getting to the end result, embracing the flexibility of you getting to where you need to be, but still being dedicated.
I love that 100%. Like, one of the things I always heard from studying sports, I love watching sports, I love watching great champions, is I always heard that great champions are able to adapt, right? Like, sometimes you may come in with a game plan and then you get met with a different scenario. Like, we find that happens all the time in film, right? Like, beforehand, we could plan everything. Like, okay, we're going to get together this time. We're going to set up and shoot this shot at this time. We're going to shoot this at this. We're going to get the light over here at this. But when you get in the scenario, it may not be like that. The light may be over here. You may be over there. But you still have to get that end result. And so I love the fact that you shared that sometimes that we can't be so focused on or trying to control things. We still have to be able to adapt and be flexible to stay committed. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That was a great question.
I hope I answered the person that asked it. I know a few people that are OCD, and I'm like, you're driving me crazy. But yeah.
Got you. Okay. All right. So I'm over here. I'm looking at the timer. We have a few minutes left. So we are officially at the end. I want to say thank you to everybody who submitted questions. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody's questions for this week, but we encourage you to keep submitting your questions. In a couple minutes, Gina's going to share with you like all her info. And please make sure you're reaching out to us on a weekly basis, because the conversations definitely don't stop here. Right? Like, this is just one area. This is just one platform. But the goal is for us to keep growing on an everyday basis. And it's also for us to keep providing, quality content that can help you prevail in your everyday life. So, reach out to Gina constantly. If you have any questions, matter of fact, Gina, why don't you tell the people, where they could reach you, tell them about some of the things you have going on so they can stay up to date with you.
Yeah, of course. So, as you guys know, it's probably been a year already that I wrote a book called Prevail, The Process of Overcoming. It is everywhere where books are sold. I thank God for that. So I have it in English, called Prevail, The Process of Overcoming. And it's also on my bio, on my link tree, which is amazing. Thank you for Crown Media for putting that together for me. It's also in Spanish. It's called Prevaleciendo, El Proceso de Superarse. And I love it because I'm able to reach two audiences. So I encourage all the young people that have Spanish-speaking parents let them teach you Spanish because it will benefit you. Okay. I also have it in Audibles, and is on the Audible app, or you can get it on audiobooks. Anywhere where you can find audiobooks, you can get that as well, which is amazing. Spotify, everywhere, which is really an amazing task that they put together for me. I also have the Audibles in Spanish. I did not do that one. I am working on really getting my Spanish together, which is good, but it's not excellent. And so, yeah, so we have it in hardcover, softcover, anywhere where books are sold. We also have a podcast called The Prevail Point, which is amazing. You can get that on Anchor, on Spotify, on Apple. Subscribe so that you don't miss a episode. So it's going to be amazing. Last week I was a little bit late, and I kind of told on myself. This week I was early. But the podcast is amazing. We have the Live with Gina's every Wednesday at 7 o'clock with Crown Media, shot by Smooth, Kevin. And, we are here every single Wednesday. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram at Prevail the Book, and also at Jina Arce-Cotto. If you want to see a little bit of my dancing on TikTok, you'll see that there with my daughters. And we also on Facebook on Jina Arce-Cotto and author-Jina Arce-Cotto. And right now we're also working on a YouTube channel, which is amazing. What?
No, I said, now you spot on. It's funny because actually Kaylin just wrote that.
Oh, she did? Yeah.
Yeah,
For some reason, I'm not seeing people joining or anything like that, or people writing. But yeah, we working on a YouTube channel that's supposed to be coming out very soon, and you'll be getting a lot of awesome content on that. And we're just out there, we are working so strongly with Crown Media to let you know that you could still live the best days of your life. And there is a way. And whatever we have to do to show you how to prevail, we're doing it. We are prevailing ourselves. We are still in the process ourselves. Whoever's telling you they made it and is still alive is lying to you. If you are still alive, you're still in a process. You're still in a journey. And we are working together to figure that out. We are so excited to be able to share with you and have this platform and show you that we can do this together. So thank you so much, Kevin, for all your input. You are amazing. We are going to be starting a series soon. And hey, should we talk about some good stuff, some raffles and some?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm glad you brought that up, because the other thing I was going to encourage everyone, and why it's important to not only follow Jina but also follow I Am Crown Media, is that's how you stay up to date with Jina and all the amazing things that she has coming down the pipeline. And she let the cat out of the bag, but there's going to be a huge amount of raffles, giveaways, of amazing pieces of content and things that Gina's putting together to help you elevate and become better. The other thing I do want to put on your radar, why it is important to make sure you follow her and stay up to date, is September 17th. Mark your calendars now. That is the next vision board party where we're actually going to all be getting together virtually via Zoom, and we're going to be putting together our vision boards. It's going to be a fun event. We're going to have some music. We're going to get a chance to build our vision, share with each other. Like I said, there's going to be a ton of raffles and giveaways, some cool merch and things like that. So make sure you follow Jina so you can register and RSVP.
We are getting some merch, Kevin. Oh my God, that's exciting.
I like that. Link is in the bio. And actually, I want to take this moment to really shout out all the followers, because without y'all, we wouldn't really have this. And this is why you are why we do this. And everyone who's always constantly giving us your support, your feedback. I'm going to shout out, I always constantly shout y'all out, but I also want to shout out Tiffany as well, because, it was funny because we had this idea for the vision board party for a long time, but, she was tuning into one of the episodes, and she actually DM'd me after and said, I think this would be a great idea. And so it confirmed something that we were already talking about.
We were already talking about.
And that's exactly, I share that story to let you know that we're listening to you all. Like, we're open to your feedback. What it is we're here for you. So like I said, any questions you have, feel free to DM Jina. There's a ton of new amazing content. We shot for like 7 hours last week. We got new motivational minutes coming.
That's exciting.
A new segment with some Q&A stuff. So if you're looking to, get your questions answered, and if we don't get to them on the episode, please submit them, because we're going to actually answer those in upcoming content. So, with that being said, once again, Jina, you are amazing today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you
with us. Everyone, make sure you keep following Prevail the Book. Follow I Am Crown Media. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Talbot, the co-founder and chief creative director of Crown Media Group.
You're the man.
Thank you. Gina, you the woman.
You're the man.
You're the woman.
You're
All
awesome.
right. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Have a great
Thank
week.
you.
We'll see you next
Bye.
Wednesday.
Blessings to you and your family.